There is something that comes up as a threat in fantasy games relatively often – poison. There are poisonous plants, animals, monsters, synthetic alchemical poisons, etc. And many monsters have resistance to poisons as well. So let's quickly go over how poisons work in GURPS. First, poisons are separated into categories based on their method of delivery. There are blood agents that have to reach a mucous membrane or an open wound, contact agents that have to touch skin, digestive agents that have to be swallowed, follow-up poisons that are blood or contact poisons placed on a piercing, cutting or impaling weapon, respiratory agents that you have to breathe in, and sense-based agents that are delivered through a particular sense. Most poisons have a delay from a few seconds to several hours, but many fantasy poisons work immediately. If there is a delay, then this delay is given for size modifier +0 creatures. The delay becomes longer for larger creatures and shorter for smaller creatures. Some, not all, poisons give the victim an HT roll to resist. If you have, for example, resistance to poison +3, then it does not work against irresistible poisons, but if you have immunity to poisons, then it does make you immune to such poisons. I know it might sound weird, but that's how it works. Most poisons deal toxic or fatigue damage, but supernatural fantasy poisons might deal even corrosion or burning damage. Some poisons deal damage once, and some poisons are cyclic. Their damage is repeated again each time a specified interval of time passes. In that case, you cannot heal damage dealt by the poison until the cycles run out. If a cyclic poison is resistible, then each cycle can be negated by a new HT roll. And this is where GURPS rules contradict themselves. There are precedents where this means that if you make a successful resistance roll, you shake off the poison and negate all the remaining cycles. But there are also precedents where this means that a successful resistance roll only negates this particular damage cycle. I don't know what is correct, but I prefer the latter way. Some poisons may also have symptoms, certain conditions that affect the victim after he loses 1/3, 1/2 or 2/3 of his HP to the poison. And there are also poisons that do not deal any damage at all and are afflictions instead. As you can see, poisons are very varied. Poisons are sold in doses. For a contact agents, a dose codes a single hit location. For gaseous poisons, one dose also affects one hit location, and 10 doses produce a cloud with a 2-yard radius. To poison a weapon, you need 1 dose to poison the tip of a piercing or impaling weapon, or 3 doses per yard of reach to poison the edge of a cutting weapon. Most poisons on blades only last for 1 successful strike, or 3 blocked or parried ones. For digestive poisons and follow-up poisons, it is also possible to deliver more doses than usual. Each doubling of dosage gives -2 to HT rolls to resist and +2 to rolls to detect poisons. How does one treat a poison? If you got bitten by a poisonous animal, you may take a minute to suck the poison out of the wound with a first aid or physician roll at -2, to give yourself +2 on HT rolls to resist. Certain digestive poisons can be expelled by inducing vomiting. This takes 10 seconds and requires a first aid or physician roll and gives +2 to resist. Antidotes, if they exist, may provide a bonus to resist or simply neutralize the poison. If you are a cinematic monk, then you can use the body control skill to purge the poison from your body. Now, try to remember, when have you ever seen a player character use poisons? Poisons usually represent a passive threat, something that you have to deal with. A weak but poisonous creature might bite you in combat, but the poison might linger for a long time after its defeat, creating a consequence that you have to deal with. When PCs use poisons, it's usually poisons that act without delay, like many poisons from Dungeon Fantasy. If a poison has a delay, Then stealthily poisoning an adversary and waiting for him to get ill is just not dramatic or fun. This was one of the reasons why I decided to write up the College of Poison Magic in Pyramid 4.1, to make poisons more interactive and to make existing poisons matter more. You can extract a poison from a slain monstrous scorpion, then transform it into a different form with a spell, or turn it into a missile, and your enemies can do the same. While that article is made with magic as skills in mind, there are sorcery conversions on my blog. You should also remember that while D&D poisons are lame in D&D, they don't have to be in GURPS. After all, there are so many interesting exotic poisons in D&D. Psychic poisons that poison anyone who uses remote senses in an area, positoxins that affect undead, magic-infused poisons on the drow, and many more. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.